And welcome back to Perfect Date, ladies and gentlemen. It's once more your main Bob Mom, Doc Wild Card. Welcome you back. In the previous chapter, I had been on a sort of hangout again because, again, I wouldn't be right dating another dude, even again, to me. That just would be weird at best. McMURPHY, and he was teaching me how to catch fish using a shirt to find schools of them and just being able to scoop them up all at once. If that could be done in real life, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I have my khaki vest because I don't want to burn out. I sit in the position Professor Pulper taught me, legs crossed, back straight, slightly on my knees, and fingers formed into loose circles with a forefinger and thumb touching gently. From what I understand, it's called lotus position in yoga. I close my eyes and hear a rhythmic purring, slow and steady. My fur prickles at the sea breeze, my ears twist to the end of the distant sounds of feet on wood and seagulls crowing in another faraway place. The smell of the sea fills my nostrils. It tastes fault to one another. Begin to focus my breathing with my heartbeat. And my mind is as I take a deep breath in, the tide slowly comes creeping toward me. Just 10 meters away from my bedroom. I slowly hold a breath. 10 heartbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With each beat, I push the tide back into the rock until it's almost touching the sun. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Drifting now without my attachment thought. I want to face my anchor. Interesting. Didn't expect yoga to be done apparently in this. Okay, so yeah, it's not romance. It's not a date. It's just a hangout. Please remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, cool. Where were we for? It's too beautiful today to be slaving in the hot lab. So when Murph invited me out to a stroll, it was easy to say yes. Not that I need much instead of time with inmates engaged in company. Come to one of my favorite spots where the cliff sweeps up above the water. Suddenly, without any warning, McMURPHY plunged over the top of the towering rocks. I went to the cliff's edge with my heart in my mouth to see what's happened. As a sight I still haven't gotten used to. He's in the water, more idle than cat, waiting for me to follow. Jump, Kala, jump! Solo with his grand. McMURPHY! Shocked by the shrillness of my voice, I hadn't intended to be quite such a shriek. I was aiming for a sturdy admonishment. That's so dangerous! You could lose yourself to injury! For worse, from such height. Oh, piss! Come on, Kara. Or do you want to see? Or you won't get to see the fun I have in store? Tori surprised me enough one day. Ha! Which was meant. I'm not sure if this can be said in the future. If you want us in the future, at this, I'm filled with an indignance that takes over my body before I know I'm halfway between the ledge and the water bracing for impact. Yes, I've done that kind of thing before, not in these kinds of conditions, but like high dives. And my favorite is the Knoebels Grove. It's a park that also has a water park built into it. That's actually how it started, was with a pool. And the high dive goes up, I think, 12 feet up. Or is it 8 feet and then 12 feet of water underneath? But either way, it's all kinds of fun. It's quite the experience being in midair as you go down from a great height like that. And I especially love Knoebels because it was founded by a World War I veteran, and it's a hyper patriotic place. It's exactly my kind of a place, because I'm all about mine, the single radio station all the time. As I said, this support the Wounded Warrior Project, this purchase of this on Humble Bundle. This way. I'm still catching my breath as McMurphy's head disappears under the surface. My mind is saying, no, it's ridiculous, get back to the way this instant, but my body is following the Irish cat. Oh, cool. My eyes take a moment to adjust, but when they do, I can hardly believe what I'm looking at. It's a ship. As we approach from the stern, it looks pretty much intact. I can see the name of the port side, and though faded and worn away in parts, the words are unmistakable. Kitty's Desire, okay? I just swooned due to the excitement and lack of oxygen. I flared to the surface to catch my breath. I wonder if that's intended as a pun. Flounder. Kitty's Desire? You'd like to know that name. His head eventually bobs off to join me on the surface. Surprised? A shipwreck? Here? It's a very old island car. What's happened here? But how did the ship even get here before the path was made? Hey, don't ask me, Kara. I'm just in it for the grog. Oh, damn. McMurphy smiles and dives back into the murky depths. I follow, flailing fleshbag in comparison to McMurphy's sleek figure. It's actually interesting how grog got that name. It was the grogum cloth that was worn by sailors in the 1700s, and in fact, Mount Vernon is named for one understand would have been named Mount Grog, but it was actually named, thankfully, because that just doesn't sound nearly as majestic or nothing. Mount Grog. After, I'm pretty sure, a captain during the Revolutionary War, I'm pretty sure that it was George Washington himself who named the mountain that. Let's see here. Mount Vernon. Yeah, it was named by George Washington himself, President Washington himself, and let me see here. I'm trying to remember where that name came from. Oh wow, Washington family acquired the land in 1674. I didn't realize the Washington family had been there for that long on this continent well before the founding of the single greatest nation of all time. Huh. Let me see if I can find, let's see here. Name. Sake. Yeah, Vice Admiral Edward Vernon. He was military commander under whom Washington's half-brother Lawrence had served. Yes, that's what it was. I knew it was something like that. I remembered it was something like that. But yeah, the Grogum cloth was worn by Vernon, and it was like that. I'm pretty sure it means that like puffy looking thing, that ruffled thing that is shown in like 1700s taking place movies. Let's try to get a closer look at the wreckage. It's a big ship, likely a trading vessel, judging from the size. It's hard to tell how old it is, but it certainly isn't modern, maybe 18th, 19th century. When we entered the ship from a huge hole in the stern, I realized it has a lot of vessels actually on land. It's obviously vanished ashore after it was damaged at sea. This also reminds me of a thing I've seen in New Jersey. It was an experimental concrete ship that was going to be used in World War II, but proved impractical due to its weight, and so they just left it to sink out in the ocean. But yet its remains are still there. They're slowly fading away from view because of it sinking still. But yeah, you can see it in New Jersey. The remains of a concrete ship from all the way back in World War II. It's really cool. It's not much time to ponder the mechanics of what happened as McMURPHY is tugging at my t-shirt with his right paw, while gesturing with his paw outstretched to the cabin he wants me to enter. Grateful the air trapped inside and gasped for breath. You gotta look. Hang on. Let me catch my... He's already tucked into the next cell. How's that out of breath? I realize his ability to swim underwater is unusually strong. They barely fix the surface at all. In here, through the hole. I do that myself when I'm swimming. At every pool I go to, I go back and forth at least once, all the length of the pool underwater to train my lungs, as well as all the rest of my body, because it's like it works every muscle that there is when you're swimming, especially underwater. That and doing like punches and kicks and such underwater, the added pressure strengthens muscles. I first saw that in an Olympics commercial years back. A boxer doing that, and I've been doing so ever since. Sounds really exciting. As I under, I see why. There in the center of the cabin is a chest. It's wedged between the wall and surprisingly well-preserved writing desk. The only thing preventing it from falling and being buried in the sand. The treasure chest! I sound like a gay kid and feel embarrassed, but McMURPHY joins in my glee and still we cheer and laugh together. Go on then, open the car! Okay! What's he waiting for? The key? To the dead one. Of course it does, Mary. It's a locked treasure chest. You not just break the lock. Who do you think I am, Houdini? I don't know about that, but you're a very clever scientist who throws for knowledge back to my flesh for grog. So you get yours, and I'll get mine. Moggy? That's how okay. Great species of cat? I've never seen that before. Let me see something here, Professor. What is that? Moggy, huh? Yes, a breed of cat. Interesting. I never heard of that. Huh. It's a British word for domesticated cats, I see. I have nothing against sushi bears, ladies and gentlemen. I take utmost pride in mine, the single his name one time. Moggy grins before darting to the next cabin. I hear the familiar clinking of balls shortly after. I decided to try the lock anyway. Murphy's getting his. I look around for something, anything I could lever with, and I'm disappointed. Everything except the chest and the desk must have been washed away a long time ago. We'll have to come back to this with some tools to tackle that lock, Murph. McMURPHY is still empty with his loot and pillaging, so I decided to take his friend to the beach to get a closer look from from land. When I had taken the scene properly, I can make out what looks like another watch ship just a bit further on the beach. I can't believe what I'm saying. When you see the vessel find its way to the land straight enough, the two meet in the same unhappy phase more than my brain could process. Proximity of the pair would suggest a collision of some kind. Possibly the second vessel could have been a pirate ship. He was attacking a merchant vessel? Get the feel I'm looking for the conclusion. At the conclusion, a very interesting story here. Wonder why Professor Popper didn't tell me about it. Obviously, he must have been aware of the two vessels. My nose for intrigue has started to twitch. I'm burned to know more. I decided to take some of the brief splinters and chunks of metal and pocket for later analysis in the lab. While I'm satisfied that I've thoroughly combed the reef for specimens and themselves to anything of interest, I realize I haven't seen McMURPHY for a while. My heart stops and the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. How could I have been so wrapped up in my work that I didn't to keep on my friend? McMURPHY? Hope he isn't passed out from drinking too much. I ran back towards Key's desire, my heart thumping in my chest. McMURPHY! Jumped back into the swim to the stern of the ship. Doesn't seem to be any life around here. Break through the sea, choke and try to call out again. My throat's full of salt water. Where? Guess I'll say shadow out of the corner of my eye, crawling on the seabed. I dive under to get a better look and instantly see it's the Irish cat stalking proud as he were on land. Quickly let him slice the cuff of his neck and drag him to the shore. McMURPHY, you loon! Loon? What on earth are you playing at? See, I was having a grand time until you got bended on me with those big meaty paws of yours. Let's see, just want to see, there's no way of saving, that's the problem. I guess. Take me what shown, I must say. You know, I was right away about you. And I fully appreciate it, Carter. Meaty paws. Seriously though, Mac. That's a very impressive breath control. I didn't see you come for it once. I think I got it from the... Okay, this would be capitalized. The goal from God, the beginning of God. Golf being the military finish, fills filling G. I think I got it from my mother, God bless her. I think she had fantastic lungs. Do you remember her? Flashes sometimes, but... Cat, when I'm on the crowd, I have all kinds of flashes. Who knows what's real and what isn't? I guess he was lesbian sex, so there's flash for extra fallacy. What do you have about these two views then? The survey is well, there's for big pleasant big carry. Beyond that, I really don't care too much. You really are the body of hedonism. I'll take that as a compliment, Carter. You would. There's real things in life that are a little pleasure. Sure, maybe a little balance can be even better. True. And that's where you come in. Huh? You bring some balance to me, Carter. You let me be. You let me be, but let me be maybe. Help me stay safe. Yeah, I suppose so. And you bring some spice into what I might otherwise call plain science's taste. Life is flat. Eyes clear and this slowly throws you awake. Come on then, swashbuckler. I need something to eat after all that adventure. Indeed, swimming does make you hungry. I wonder why it is that people get so hungry when they're in the water, even if they're not swimming, if they're just like in the water, it makes people hungry. At least I'm pretty sure that happens to everyone. I'll walk you back to Captain and find some safe advice for your friendly tour guide. Oh, interesting. Cool. Nice. Oh, okay, I have to click on this. Oh, see. Okay, I see. Nice. Cool. Yeah, what's this do? Pirates, huh? I made my way down to the part of the beach where McMURPHY told me his shipwrecks were. Looking for clues to what happened there in case the thieves from Laurel found the antidote. Don't really know all of it before. I feel like a kid with my bucket and spade digging in the sand. Having fun? The way Styles made it so familiar I can't see who belongs to him. Oh my god. Who's that? Show yourself! Can't tell if this is a guy or a girl. I have nothing to hide, but I am naturally aware of your intentions. Will you give me a word of honor that you mean no more harm? Yeah, you have my word of honor. Well, I am indeed. I was in Cub Scouts. I was all the way back in Tiger Cubs at the very beginning. In the, what was it? I think it was like 95, I think I started. And I made my way to Cub Scouts and then to Boy Scouts. And I was, in fact, the first ever in my generation to have scored beyond the rank of Eagle, which is the highest rank in Scouts, and score a Bronze Palm for having completed more merit badges than were needed for Eagle. I take great pride in that. I'll take your word and happy to make your acquaintance, Captain Cold. Sleek, tall, gray cat has just appeared, stepped out from beyond the wreckage and is bound in front of me. Feel obliged to bow back to him. Pleased to meet you, Captain. Do you live here? The wreckage, I mean? I think I live elsewhere, but I've been here for a long time. I'm trying to find my crew. I realize he's wearing a vintage naval uniform. I'm not an expert on military history, but I guess it's from the 1800s. Captain, did you arrive on these ships? Yes, I captained Case's eye, but I fear I let my men down. Where are they? I've been searching. Seems quite disoriented. What happened? It's like you had a big run-in. Right in my eye. This is he set up to attack my leg. This is disgraceful vessel of a pirate ship. Be careful, your car name's Cord. It's just I thought it was just maybe it is, because it says Captain there. He just would take umbrage and then the cat would really have your charm. Another cat has appeared, a petite, long-haired tabby, also dressed in some sort of costume. Identify yourself, stranger! The cat turned to me. Hi, my name's Pop Mob. This is Captain. I know he is, alright. What are you doing here? Mind the way, Bob Mob. State your business. I was just sitting around, not sure what for. I certainly didn't know it was your domain. It's not. This is unclaimed land, as you've had. I dispute the ownership belongs to this rogue and cutthroat. Hang on. Let's not get overexcited. Who's a rogue? That's not nice to say a thing about Phil Cat. That put me in the same touch as that mercenary ne'er-do-well. She is a pirate. Oh, she. Okay, my bad. Calm yourself, Corny. Right now, I'm more interested in what this human's taking for. Nothing particular. You really a pirate? I refuse to discuss my business with the company's pompous goody two-paws. If you wish to speak with me, you need to leave me alone. And she walks off with her tail in the air. Thank goodness that feminist's left us. However, she does make a point. She just discovered what really happened here. You're going to have to make a choice. Her story or mine? Okay, yeah, right, yeah, there you are. Well, as Captain Lee seems to have disappeared, my source is obvious. Would you like to tell me your story, Captain Cord? A wise source in any event. Take a seat if you will. My story's a long one. Oh, I do need to be back in time for tea. I shall hasten the telling. Get on a merchant run for the Kitty Feast for Shipping Corps. I've been contracted by the companies for some time. I've done this particular run many times before. There's nothing in it that's very taxing for a captain of my experience, particularly men of a crew with the standard of men I personally handpicked for the sailing cases hire. Although the route was long, it was also straightforward. Never anticipated problems. However, this trip proved to be out of the ordinary in so many ways. Weather was against us from the start. Freak storms had been plaguing a normally peaceful sea, and several ships had reported being taken quite far off their usual trajectory. The day was proving to be a blighter. Men were doing everything by the book as I would have expected from my crew, tying down and battling the hatches. There was no point in being on deck, so I decided to wet my log in the cabin. The first I knew of anything invasive was an almighty crash that sent us reeling. I gathered myself and made my way to the deck, being buffeted and blown so that I needed to hang on tight to whatever was available. Sam, my cabin boy, was the first crew member I came by. I could barely hear him over the sound of the storm. "Pirates, Captain! Pirates!" I could hardly believe my ears. We hadn't had pirates on this route in all my times, Captain. Far too audacious a challenge. My first thought was that they was as much at the mercy of the storm as we, but that was something quickly to spell us out. "Pirates boarding! Pirates boarding!" It was unthinkable. I needed to gain control of the situation as quickly as possible. Drew my musket as I emerged on deck to the awful sight of human vermin scurrying about in the rain and crashing waves, trying to overwhelm my crew and get the upper hand. I could see the vessel perilously close to theirs, and on the bridge the unthinkable figure of that sea-devil. Captain Libby? The Witch of the Waves, Captain Libby indeed. I stood my ground, holding on to the mainmast and pointing my musket in her direction. I could not hear her laughter from the dim of the storm, but I saw her thrown back in her wild hair in the wind as she grabbed the cutlass at her hip, raised it high in the air in defiance. It was at that moment that I saw a wall of water rise up beside her, as though summoned by her. It was the last thing I saw. There was a terrible sound as though the very gates of hell were torn open. I was stuck to the deck and blackness fell. That was what made the U-hole in the stern. Yes, we came upon an impact and the whole ship was a goner. Don't know how long we've been in water. When I regained consciousness, the waters were calmer, and we were drifting on a piece of wood towards a wall of black rock. Sam seemed to be holding me as I floated in the water. "Captain, you're alive! I didn't hear a hope!" "What's happened, boy?" Crashed. The pirates scum rammed into us with such force that I feel all dead but us. As I gathered my thoughts, I realized I could hear the others moaning and crying out all around us. "We're not alone, Sam. Listen, there are others. Help me out." Between us, we managed to get me onto our makeshift raft. Sam looked around, taking stock of the other colonies. There were men, many of them, clinging to whatever was floating, keeping themselves from sinking into a watery grave. We tried to make ourselves heard as far as possible. "Men, we need to stay together. Try to hold on to each other to stop yourselves from drifting. Go on to lead us towards the land. We have to get to those rocks. Use wherever you can to paddle and follow me." "You're a hero, Captain." Yes, it was laborious, but we made progress and eventually reached what appeared to be an opening in the rocks. We stumbled to the end, the gravity of our plight became more apparent. "Help the wounded! Pull whatever you can from water. Anything may prove useful. We don't know what's ahead." What about the pirates? We were all in together. There was no place for contention. Survival was a great leveler, so we all helped each other as best we could. We found a resting place where you now live. Base camp? But of course, there were no cozy tents or fires to keep us warm. It's been terrifying. One tries not to indulge one's own fears when looking for one's own man. We managed to make a rudimentary camp for ourselves in a surprisingly short time considering the condition of the men. Each did what they could, tending to the wounded, building fires. Food was a primary consideration. Men then eat but very quickly deteriorate. So hunting parties were put together and sent out to scout for food sources. One made up of pirate scum and the other of my best men. Sadly, neither gang was successful, bringing along some unfamiliar tubers and plants that boiled to make a soup. I knew we could not continue for long to live on grass and seaweed. Men need meat. This reminds me of Ramp Mush War. I wonder if that's intentional. I became ever more determined over the coming days, sending out scouting parties and pairs through day and night. He told the same story. No animal life left at all, except for cats. We already knew there was a population of very ordinary looking New Mexican cats swimming over the land. As the men forged further ahead, they came back with tales of very different species of feline furthest in the island. They were larger than usual and very hostile to those who came close. It wasn't long before the pirates began trapping cats into eating them as a food source. Many of them were bitten and scratched. It was unthinkable to an officer or a gentleman, of course, but these barbarians didn't seem to care what went into their bellies. I wonder if that's a take on the movie An Officer and a Gentleman. They pried the press, of course, and quickly, too. Sickness ran through the ranks so expediently that the numbers were halved in days. Most flung themselves to the rocks to their death to escape the hideous plague the cats visited upon them. Some wandered off into the jungle, never to be seen again. I remember one lad, a pirate named Jim, lost his wits and began drawing strange pictures in the sand of half-man, half-cats. Tried to escape by launching out to the sea, strapped to an empty barrel. No doubt he perished along with the others. Captain, if you refused to eat the cats, how was it that you were, what you are? I don't remember too much about the transition nor anything else apart from what I've told you. I know I was bitten, but I can't remember how. Do you know what happened to me? So small and vulnerable, I just want cattle, man. Maintain respectful demeanor. I suppose you were all overwhelmed eventually. I understand that so far as that the process is different in each person depending on male DNA that was transferred. The outcome, however, always seems to be the same. Turn into a cat. Yes, I see. Of course I know that, but what if I man? Why can I not remember? I'm guessing you and Captain Lewis stay close? Yes, we seem forever to be tied in spite of our differences. You must continue to talk about what happened, your story? Woman never stops telling me. So that memory stay alive. Anything you have until you become conscious phase over time until you lose completely. I see. I'm sorry, Captain. Well then, I suppose I want to find that wretched hag of a cat in this door story. Yet again. Tell each other often, keep it alive. I promise, help is coming, I'm working on it. Help is coming, I'm working on it. I need to go now, but I'll be back soon. Breaks my heart to leave these two, but I have to get back to the camp before the professor starts looking for me. Well, that was quite interesting. Somewhat morbid, but interesting. that's going to be the end of this chapter. It keeps this from getting too long. So if you dig what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen, please consider subscribing. I'll see back. Fairly well.